Hi everyone, this is Jose, Jory Fish Keeping. This video is meant more to, I guess, a little venting, a response to a comment that was made on one of my videos that was done a little bit over a year ago, which I found it kind of amusing. And some things sometimes that I posted, as I said before, I have been lucky in the sense that I haven't really had trolls in any way, but once in a while you get a comment and you can see that the people who make the comment obviously don't put any content out there. And I did a video, not meaning so much from my end, but from other people who put out content, and I see some of the comments. I call it constructive criticism, meaning that a lot of the time some people, if they see that something is wrong, like my sister, I did a video the other day, my sister said, I proofread stuff, and I just wrote, I missed, instead of saying your video, I say you video. So it was just a typo, obviously. I didn't proofread it on the description. But there are a lot of times that people make criticism, and one of the things on this constructive criticism video that I did was I said, if you're going to make comment, criticize in a constructive way. And I had this video that I did about maybe a little bit over a year ago where I called it infestation of Detritus worm. And I have to read the comment to you and then I explain it to you. And this is to you, sir or ma'am. This is directly directed to you and perhaps other people that may do the same thing, but I'll read the comment to you. Now, let me give you the backstory. I went away on vacation, I believe it was not this summer, but the previous summer, a little bit over a year ago. That's why I said I think the video was over a year old. I have 7 tanks that I call working tanks that are in front of me here. We'll be showing images of those in a second. But these tanks, I use them for breeding, for treatments, for quarantine, any sick fish, a hospital tank. This is what I use them for. So they totally are working tanks. For grow outs also, as I have a bunch of electric blue acaras on here. So when I went away on vacation, all these other tanks, I have 4 main displaying tanks, 120, 90 gallons, 65 over here, and 60. Those are the primary tanks. My tanks are in the living room. This is my fish, quote unquote fish room. And then I have the other 7 working tanks in front of me here. Now, these guys, the larger ones, are on auto feeders, and I will feed additional stuff on time outside of the auto feeding time. When I go away, I make sure that I have nothing in the working tanks because I'm not going to put auto feeder for these small tanks. And also then if they're in quarantine, if they're in treatment, they're not going to be watched. So these guys take care of themselves up to 10 days with the auto feeders. And I do have a neighbor that if I go away for a weekend or something, I leave food for them to fix. So the point about this comment was the following. Now, mind you, there was no fish in there, but I kept them active, I kept them full, I kept the filters going. And his comment was the following, from a Mr. Sudoma. So Mr. Sudoma, this is to you directly, okay? This is my response to your comments. If your tank is that clean, you just added them, referring to the massive amount of the Detritus worm. Infestation, many question marks here. You don't add them for views. And then there's a emoji with a cry mark and a heart. You are posting a very misleading video by doing it yourself. The worms are not the problem, you are. And then he says 1 fish needs 1 worm per day. Don't throw in 100 worms. Easy as that. It's your own fault, sir. Okay, so now my response to you. The water are just that clean. If you look around at all my tanks, I have FXCs on these guys. Overfiltering for me, it's a thing. I like doing it. I think it's a better thing. Fish like clean waters. I am not of the dirty tank community that does not change water. I change water 80% once a week. And this keeps these tanks like this. I overfeed these guys because they tend to lose weight, meaning the discus, I feed them on auto feeders 3 times a day. Then I feed some sort of protein, whether it's live frozen food, beef part, whatever it is, I feed them when I come in. And the water quality remains pretty good, except that I'm going through a thing right now with them, which is I did a previous video and I'm planning to do a follow-up video after I've done recording this. I'm not a perfect fish keeper, but I am what I consider myself a good fish keeper with good habits. Okay, I regularly change my water once a week, as I said, and this is enough to keep my tanks clean. Anybody that opens that door, the entrance of the apartment here, when they look to say, wow, they come in and they say, how are your tanks so clean? Always. I make sure that I have a balance of kind of fishes that I keep, bottom feeders to take care of the excess food. I have a number of plecos in here, and that takes care of the tanks and the algae. Occasionally, I will use an algae scrubber, which I recently started using here. One was gifted by a friend. I actually won it in one of his lives. And maybe once a week, every 2 weeks, I have to do that. And this actually keeps the glass very clean. Algae is at a minimum, but every living body of water is going to have some algae, but it's controlled by animals, by water changes, by routine, and so on. This particular tank that I'm showing you now is a pair of discus. There are free swimmers in there. They're just started free swimming today. You don't see them. I don't have any other fish there. Before they laid eggs, I had plecos, I had cories, and I had other fish there. I took them out so they would not consume the eggs, just on their own. But if you notice, the tank is clean. If there's excess food, I remove it. But the tank is clean, there has no algae, and it basically has a sponge filter. Right now, I do have hang-on back filter. One of the things that I use, every one of these tanks has 2 or 3 zebra danios in there. They're very good at consuming the Detritus worms. And the discus tanks, when I just have breeding them, I do not have any danios in there. I don't have any cories, I don't have any plecos because of the eggs and the new fry. So I keep those out of there. And you may see that at times there will be these Detritus worms there because the discus don't eat them, they're too small. But the danios do an excellent job at controlling them. If you notice also in some of the videos I'm showing you, there's a pleco in every tank that controls the algae. And any excess food at the bottom, 2 or 3 cories that I keep in every tank. So these cories, these danios, they've been there through multiple quarantine and they're doing fine. I switch them from tank to tank depending on what's going on, but you're gonna see that I always have them there. Control the Detritus worm and do a heck of a job doing it. So I always keep them on there, except as I said, in the cases where I have fry that I don't want them eating it. So the tanks do remain that clean. And now, sir, you think that if I go away for 10 days, went out of the country, and these tanks are being filtered and there's no food being added, there is no fish in there to control the Detritus worm because they just seem to come out of nowhere. I have no real reason to add worms to this for clickbaits. Now, if I'm somebody else well-known out there who will make a clickbait thing and says no water changes, that's meant for clickbaits. No water changes, said it by the man himself. That's a clickbait thing. So if I put infestation, it was in fact an infestation. I don't need the views. I am not monetized. If it happens, I'm not gonna lie, if I get $50 a month from YouTube at some point, but I do not kill myself to produce comments or do clickbaits for views. Because you do clickbaits, eventually it shows through what it is. I invite you to look at any of the videos. Look at the water quality anytime that I show a tank. I came directly from work, and what did I find? I found 1 dead discus, which I've lost about 8 so far from a problem which I'm explaining in the next video and the previous video. Sorry to show these images. This is part of fish keeping. The white discus and the orange discus that's there, they are doing much better with some treatment that I started yesterday. They're eating well, and it's a positive change. So yes, things happen as a fish keeper. This is part of being a hobby. But do I want to get clickbaits? Do I want to explain something to please you? I do not need to please you, sir. I just need to tell you that what you get in my channel is to help others. And yes, it is sad when people make false statement and misleading comments. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not one of the person who does this for clickbait. My wife encouraged me because of my experience to do a YouTube channel, and I have found that it is a great part of the hobby, sharing information with you. And this was an interesting event because I know the Detritus worms are not harmful, they're not parasitic. Fish feed on them. But when there was nothing to control them, the population growth was a big explosion, which I used the opportunity to test some of these dewormers and antiparasitics to see if they actually control them, which I found, and I demonstrated on the rest of the video, if you care to see it, that the best solution is fish themselves. They clean them up in no time. So, and then you also said that fish eat 1 worm per day. I'll be surprised that one of these little Detritus worm is going to be big enough, it's going to be good enough to feed one of these fish. Maybe it does, but I can tell you something, they're voracious eaters. A bunch of little fish that were in there cleaned out those tanks, as I demonstrated in the video, in no time. So I do not need the clicks. I do not need the views. If it happens, wonderful. If it gets a lot of views, it's because obviously somebody's enjoying them. not because I'm looking for clicks by putting false clickbait. Do I want to make an attractive titles that draws your attention? Absolutely, you're damn right about that. But it is not clickbait, because what I am showing you on the video, it is actual proof. And I found that I was kind of a scientific experiment in a way. And I found what I needed to find out. Okay, so no need for sad emojis here, sir. If you don't want to watch the videos, you do not need to watch it. There are thousands of fish tubes there, or any niche that you choose to watch. But if you're going to make a criticism, prove it yourself. Show contents on your channel. Show what you're doing, how you're sharing your information. But criticizing others without actually following the rest of the video, or making an assumption that you have absolutely no clue what the truth was. What do I have to gain from this video just to get clicks? It's not making me money. It is not my day job, okay? But I found it amusing, actually. It might be stuff, no, but this actually provides content, provides another video, something else to talk about. But no, the proof is on the pudding. You got something to say? Show your end of things. Okay, this was a bit of a rant, so I thank you all for watching again. And watch the next videos. Check them out and see the water quality here. I pride myself as a good fish keeper. And believe me, this is in my living room. So anybody that comes here, they open the door, this is the first thing they want. Do I want a stinky, dirty, no water change tank, dirty tank in my room? Absolutely. That's not my style. My style is I love clean water, and I want to be able to see fish swimming in clean, healthy water. So have a wonderful day.
3, 2, 1.